Mic not working. It should be now. Yeah, hey, let's start all over again. Basically, I said there was a weekend review, some good shots and bad shots and all that other stuff, and then my normal intro. So now we're back. All right, so right back to it. The number one thing that we're going to talk about is Rory McIlroy winning the CJ Cup, right? It got minus 25, a ridiculously low score, ridiculously low. And but anyway, Ricky Fowler came in just a few strokes behind and shot out. He was still in negative numbers. He just didn't go stupid low like McIlroy did. But Colin Morikawa shot a minus 10. Almost, I bet he set a course record or came damn close. All right, I got an itch now. All righty, so that was taking care of that one. I saw on the senior tour, what I call a Champions Tour, that Lee Jansen won. That's pretty cool. And that Matt Fitzpatrick won on the European Tour. So thumbs up to all those guys. All righty. And going around, stuff I didn't get to show you last week in the way of pictures, who knows for what reason. Number one, this is the round where I shot my, when I went under par for the first time on 9 holes. There I am with my dad, and this is the number I did right here because this is the number one hole that is behind us, and it drops like 2 stories from here. And off to the left, you can see in the lighter green is the tee box for the par 3 that goes uphill in just about the same fashion. It's tight and very good course. All right, so let's talk about this. Here's where I tell you about how badly I treat my dog. Can you tell? She's just absolutely, she's wore out. All right. Last week was the birthday for the Navy, and I sent this out on the Instagram/Facebook. And thank you, Charles, for the hat and my USS Whale. And there's the new Vertex shaft that we're working with, and I was putting together some heads. In fact, I was putting together those. Those are single length heads, which takes me to the next section. And we did some single lengths, some Wishons, these are the Wishons, the EQs, and went from there's the 4 hybrid, went from 5-iron all the way to a lob wedge, and it was quite nice. And had the BB&F ferrules on them, and as you can see with the lambkin grips, like the half-corded lambkin grips, and they turned out pretty good. I was kind of skeptical at first, but made them a little bit longer as he requested, and they came out in the swing weights that we wanted. So, I mean, it all turned out pretty good, and so we like that one. Here's one that came in from a golfer came in and said these were his dad's, and he wanted to take them out and play them, and we had a regrip, and they came in looking like that. Now, all right, so you got to be a guy to hit these things. I mean, come on. Those are exactly what you think they are. They're the big old muscle type blades, and they were in pretty rough shape. And we put some new grips on them, cleaned them up a little bit, and then turned them into something like that. So at least they were shiny in the bag. And you can tell they had a lot of road wear on them. So at least they were being used, and that's a good thing, right? And that's a really, really good thing. Alrighty, so other things that are coming up, these are coming ups. Kurt came down. Kurt is a follower. He's a watcher, and he brought a set of irons. Look at those bad boys. MP32s. I'm going to try and get it in there. That's where it's at right there. MP32, the Mizunos. These guys got some. These are in actually really good shape for their age. 32. This was the blade with the little bitty cavity in it. Not too bad, right? And then he sent this. I'll take the plastic off because I always do. Oh, we got a dot. We'll have to figure out what that was for. And we've got an Idea hybrid. An Idea hybrid. Look at that. You can even see the reflection of the computer screen. 19 degree. And a little bitty dot came off. And I think that was just covering the weight. Or, oh, no, I know what it's from. And this is what you'll see. This is called a hosel plug. Let me do it a little bit better. Their version of a hosel plug. That's what you're seeing now. They used to be white and plastic, and they would virtually pop into the hole, so that it would be tough to get in there. And I don't think you can see in there, but it goes all the way into the bottom of here to prevent excess glue, because they got to leave a hole open. I'm sitting that down. They got to leave a hole open just in case they find themselves a rattle they can't deal with, and they put some rat glue in there, and that's the place that they go. And then they put the tape wet in, or the hosel plug in. All righty. Some other stuff, some other builds that we had. We fit a father and son who were under the same name. One went by Doug, one by Douglas. And so we called him Doug and Doug Jr. And Doug Jr.'s got game, right? I think I may have told you this before, but with the driver, he was swinging at tour level speeds. Played with some guys that played college golf, and I think he took up what would have some insurance business. So I fully suspect that we'll see more of him. But we end up putting him into Callaway Apex in the what was it? We went 4 through the 7. And then the 7, and then after the 6, no, the 7, and then the 8 down into the Pro model. And we use the Elevate. Let me put one down. We ended up using the Elevate 115 and X-Flex. And I'm here to tell you, he murdered them. He was putting some golf balls out there into outer space. And he was throwing them way out there. And you could tell when they were doing good because all he'd do is smile. He'd give you one of those, right? And then we, our first full toe, I'm pretty sure it's our first full toe, right? Went out there and we put a little heavier shaft in it. No, sorry, same shaft, just made it longer. And the full toe. And he bounced that one around very, very well, created a lot of spin. And it is a spin maker. It's very, very soft. So anybody that was looking at those, I would, if you're looking to make a little bit of spin with a little bit of, we'll call it workability in a wedge where you can open it up and not feel like you're going to skull it, that club's got it. All right. And the dad ended up in the same club. All right. Ended up in the same club. Now, I know I've talked about this before. Only this time he went into a KBS Max 80R. Okay. I've run into this before where we have whole families come in, the sons or the daughters and whoever was the prevailing golfer in the family, and they all have the same type of swings. Well, they learn from them, right? So they adapted a lot of their tendencies, and you'll find that, now just like you saw here, is that the club heads would work, and some of them are upright, some of them are flat. That's important. But the shafts and the transmission of the club, way different, right? Way different. We went from something that was super heavy, normal heavy, and extra stiff to something that was very light and regular flex in order for these guys to be able to play golf together. And I thought that was really, really cool. All right. So some other stuff we've got. This is like a laundry list today, right? Another for a Mizuno build coming up. All right, Mizuno build coming up. We got the Akai 50s. That's for some hot metals that are going to be out there. The gentleman that hit those did very, very well. And this is a prelude. Look at here. The Modus, and it only comes in the, I have to show it to you. There you go. Turo 105. Right there. I got these in my clubs. These things are great. All right. They got that black on them. Very, 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 very neat. Very, very neat shaft. I do like the 105 already. I like the weight. I like the profile for me. And I do like just the way that it feels. And it does look pretty cool. I mean, come on. Put a red ferrule on that one and a red grip. Wow. And that's what I did. How about that? All right. So some other news that we just learned. Breaking news. We're talking with our supplier from KBS. And if any of you guys are looking at KBS and you're wanting 105s, forget about it. They are not making any in the, we just got 2 orders canceled for the 105 area that we've been waiting on for a while. And the word was, and I quote, they are not making any in 2022, possibly picking it back up in 2023. So if you're looking for a 105 shaft, that ain't it. Okay. Which just consequently, I thought was kind of funny that I'm showing you that guy, and it just happens to be a 105. Now, I will say it is a bit of a different profile, but it does work. So keep that in mind. The rumor mill is hot and bothered with the fact that even True Temper might be doing that with some of their models. Not all, just a few. Don't get too panicky. So I haven't got the real word yet on what they're going to be, what that might be. So when you guys have been asking about, are we going to see some golf shortages? Well, right there, right? We're seeing it then. We saw some grips earlier in the year. We're seeing the shafts now. I think that's going to be a long-winded one, right? With the people not being in the factories. And then the heads, we're starting to get caught back up. Again, with us, Callaway's doing pretty good, except there's always that one outlier. That one outlier says, oh, yeah, we're not going to be here. And we always get, well, it'll be the end of March. Well, that's not a big deal. It's a couple weeks. Then there's a couple that are in the middle of November. Again, not bad, right? And then we start saying January, and then you hear February, and then you hear March. And we start getting outside the box. And the same things were happening. Now, in the more popular lines, a lot of that stuff is still on track. We haven't heard too much about Wilson yet. We've placed some orders, which takes me into another fitting issue. I did some fittings, basically across the board from age to capability, from a 17-year-old that's been playing 2 years and shoots into the mid 70s and just wants to golf, and that's great, to a lady into her mid 60s and loves playing golf as well, and every spectrum in between in the last 2 weeks basically. And I'm here to tell you that although technology is a wonderful thing, right? It is an absolute wonderful thing in drivers. Sometimes it just doesn't engage. And what do I mean by that? Meaning that you can have all the iguana spit in the head, and you can have all the new milled faces, and you can have all the AI stuff, all that stuff. And it is well-designed stuff. But if you can't break 80 mile an hour in your swing speed, there's a real opportunity that the technology just won't engage to help you. Okay. And I am finding, and it's just me, other people may disagree, but I take the Wilson D9, and the Wilson D9 has technology all its own as well, with their React and the rebound and the chrome or the carbon top, but that's basically become a standard, and there's not a whole lot going on the inside, and this thing wallops the competition when you get into slower swing speeds. absolutely wallops them. So if you're out there and you have a bit of a slower swing speed, you might want it. You may not look in that direction, but I'm telling you, the response will be very, very, very good. All right. Mizuno's picking up the pace. They went from almost a month and a half, and now they're down into inside of a month, 2 to 3 weeks, right? So everybody's catching up. However, now that everybody's catching up, the now we need the stuff to show up in order for us to keep going. So there's that one. All righty. So look at that. We got into all we got to talk some fitting stuff. We got to talk some business stuff. We got to talk about future stuff. And we talked about PGA Tour good golf stuff. Oh, my stuff. A week ago, told you golfed really well. This last weekend, I golfed with Bob and a couple other buddies in a breast cancer awareness outing. And I golfed like I was holding the wrong end of the club. And it was awful. I even hit the S word 2 or 3 times in the round. It was bad. And I came back into the fitting room and I figured out what it was is I was just trying too hard. I was just trying too hard, and it was causing all kinds of bad moves to the point where I was just like, you bonehead. I started relaxing and I hit some golf balls I've never seen me hit before. So good for us. So it can be fixed. I just couldn't figure out why I couldn't fix it out there. So there's that one. All right, before we get into the comments, and I'm going to get right to them. I think Robin's all over answering. I need some ideas, all right? I'm asking you genuinely. I'm looking for ideas for content for the YouTube channel. You know what I do. You know where we do it at. And some out-of-the-box stuff. If you would, in the comments, throw down an idea or two. And Mrs. McGolf has got a pad of paper and a pen, and she's out there enjoying a happy hour beverage and is watching. And we'll see if we can get some added content going into 2022. All right. So let's get going here. MB Golf. Hell of a question. I'm going to be putting in a stability shaft on my putter, but it's the gold prototype that came without a stopper in the bottom for an install. I have pieces need help, please. I'm trying to figure out what kind of help you need, bud. As I understand it, the stability, now keep in mind, I have not had a stability shaft in here. I just know of it, and its adjustability. If the stopper is in the very bottom, that's probably just a feel thing, much like Ping does when they go to put the adapter. I wouldn't sweat that one so much as something to stop it from, that device that makes it stop when you get it adjusted to where you want. So I wouldn't sweat the stopper, to be honest. Just make sure it's abraded properly and that the hosel area is cleaned out and that you use good glue and then wipe it down. All righty. Dave, what's up? Yep, we are. Thank you. Same to you. Yeah, he had a great comeback, right? I will say this. I'm gonna play devil's advocate for you guys. It's funny how the media treats different people. This guy hasn't been a factor in Lord knows how long. And the minute he shows a spark, it's like the second coming of golf. And I'm not taking away from his win. He golfed phenomenally. He did very, very well. I just now let's see what happens next week. And good for him. I'm glad he's back in there. He set a record, right? 20 wins. That puts him into an exempt status, except for he's been doing it for such a short period of time that he's actually got to wait, 2 more years before the exempt status kicks in. So how good is that? Beginning what, but, I love the fact that he speaks his mind. I really, really do. There's just, I don't know, when everybody's jumping on the bandwagon, I just had my reservations. I guess it's a me thing. But I still recognize the fact that the dude's got serious game. And I hope we see more from him. All right, Matt, what did we shoot? 70 in Norwalk. Eagle Creek. Oh, yeah. Yep. Heading to the soccer. Well, hopefully they do well, man. All righty. Jim, can you explain bounce on a wedge when you want more or less bounce for certain shots in certain conditions? Okay. We're just doing this. This has been a theme in my last set of fittings. Okay. I had a guy in here that was 6'8", right? 6'8", had hands like this big and just big guy, nice guy too. But we had to get him into we'll use him as an example. So when we talk about bounce, and we'll use Kurt's club here, and although it's an 8-iron, we're talking about the angle from here, the leading edge, to where the ground would be. So that opening right there in the front, that's the number for the bounce. Now, typically what you want to do is you measure the bounce from the center. When you're designing them, you measure them in multiple places just to make sure you have you get the performance that you're looking for. Now, so you separate, we'll go with the two extremes. You have diggers and you have sliders, all right? Diggers and sliders. And then anything in between, you can kind of modify it from there. And then from the digger perspective, and then in the condition perspective, you have fluffy, and then you have hard pan, all right? And then you have your conditions in between. And so what I try to do first is I say, what kind of golf do you play? And that's the third one, right? That's the third one. Are you an artiste with it, wanting to open it up and make it into a flop shot almost every time, or you're going to be that kind of guy? You're artistic around the green, or are you what I call point, click, and chip? You just lay the thing down and you use it. It's a tool, and that's the way you go. So you got to put all these kind of like a equation of sorts, right? So number one, if you're a digger, right? If you're a digger, the bounce number needs to be bigger, right? Digger is bigger, and that's so that you bounce out of these shots, right, in order to not get stuck. The whole idea here is not to truly get stuck. Now, if you're a swinger or a guy that slides through the grass, that number can be lower. All right. Now, if we go into the conditions, the hard pan, right? Hard pan needs to be a lower number, where fluffy or dense needs to be a bigger number. Again, everything that catches your club, bigger, right? And then if you're an artistic guy, and that turns more into soul grind. And then you might be limited in your soul grind. So if you're a guy that's going to open it up a lot, maybe some heel and toe relief, maybe a little bit in the back, depending on how much they want. And you can see them hit through that. Will give you an idea. And there's tons of grinds out there, almost one for every letter in the alphabet. There's C's, D's, G's, W's, M's, N's, L's, and then the standard issue tour grind, right? And so there's all kinds out there in order to find out which one gets through the turf for you. And then you apply that particular style to the width of the sole or the number of bounce, and then the bounce angle, in order to kind of get in that general area, right? Get in that general area, get a couple in that area, and then get the golfer hit, and then see what happens. And then give them one that's just totally wrong, and watch the interaction with the turf. It's all about interaction with the turf, because if you hit it good through the turf, then all good things happen. The spin gets created, the ball flies up high, all those different things. Now, finally, if you really were getting into it and it goes outside the bounce number, is then you start looking at the face, right? Some of the faces are coarse, some are not. And some grab the ball better than others. And those are things that you get when you get more used to the wedges that you carry. All right. That was cool. Hey, little Willard, how are you, sir? It is starting to feel like fall. It started out at 45 degrees and it got up into 60s, mid 60s. I think it's basically dead solid perfect outside right now. However, by the time the sun goes down, we're supposed to get into the high 30s. So it's going to get a bit chilly tonight. I know, Travis. Mrs. McGolf came in there and she hit me really, really quick. So sorry. Same thing, Steven. Hopefully you guys are all right. Danny, been pulling some shots. Been pulling some shots straight left, like my shoulders are swinging faster than my arms. Any suggestion? Huh. Okay, a swing thought. You're out of rhythm, right? Typically, what I like to do is, when I'm doing these kinds of things, Danny, I'd like to build. And what I mean by that is, if you're pulling shots, bring the club. It's called the L to L drill, and you bring the club back halfway and bring it up to the top. You swing through, and with it up to the top, L to L. Okay. And just do it and just swing and see where the ball goes. And you can be surprised, because from here down is where all the golf happens. This is my opinion. It's all style points. So you get from here below, and if you can get that going, then you can start reaching back and going further and further and further and further, and getting it, and it's putting you in plane. And you can see where it's coming, because you'll see the divots, you'll see the direction of the club, you'll see the club face angle, all those different things, and keep the ball in the middle and see what happens. Keep the ball in the middle and see what happens. It's really, 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 you'd be surprised what this drill does for you. Mr. Kent, how are you, sir? Cold and wet Yorkshire. All right. Well, at last, Roy closed the tournament. Yes. He needs to get shut out of his mate on the back. Oh, get shut off of his mate. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I like the guy. Let's just put it where it's at. All right, but yeah, he's doing good. You know, the other part is, I like him when he was on the Ryder Cup and he let one go, and I thought, there you go. That is the part that I like about him. If he was getting all that kinds of into it, I'm down with him then. Travis K, happy Monday from New Jersey. What do you say, buddy? Have you seen the new Epic Star line? I have seen it. Since I carry Callaway, I get the staff letter, and I like the look of this thing. All right. So everybody understands the Epic Star has been released as of late by Callaway. The Epic Star is a line that is directly aimed at folks that were looking at PXG. Okay, so keep that in mind. Where the irons are, I think they're like $350 a stick. The drivers are in the $6 and some change, maybe higher. All that's okay. So all that comes with it. Now I have to say the aesthetics on this thing, this black and gold that's on this, is outstanding. Right? It is outstanding. However, you got to keep this in mind, that this is driven at basically an older golfer base with disposable income, meaning that it is a very good club, obviously, but it is all ultra light. I mean, ultra light. All right. We're talking, 30-ish gram shafts to 40-ish gram shafts. We're talking ultralight steel or graphite. Heads are lighter. I mean, everything is light, right? It's very good stuff. It's just light. So if you're an aggressive guy, you're not going to like it, right? But if you're a guy looking to gain distance, if you're a guy that likes, and these are basically, they're basically apexes, I'm going to say, that look like blades. They're going to play like apexes, but they're going to look like blades. So they got a cool factor in them that's just off the charts. But it's not going to be for the guy who generates a truckload of swing speed. It's for the other person It's it's for the person who's looking to generate some club head speed, looking to get the ball out there a little further, and look good doing it. And that's what that's for. No doubt, right? There's Kurt. This is the guy. These are his right here, the Mizunos. So he's a player. Peter from Syracuse, raining ice pellets off the lake already? Well, you're in Syracuse. Yeah, it's a little bit further north. Man, I hope that stuff stays up there. I just do. I'd like to get out a couple more weeks with Dad and see what that's out. Yeah, it's a button right here. Duh. I just don't get to see it because I have it bent towards me. Mike from Buffalo. Let's see. Today was the first day of Collegiate Conference Championship. Oh, where were you? All right. Tied for 15th, currently out of 40. Hey, that's not bad. Hoping better play tomorrow. Greens are rolling at 12 to 12 and a half. Woohoo. Be ready, buddy. And it's only going to get faster, right? Unless there's any storms. Uh-oh. Be right back. Technical difficulty. Okay. So Mike, well, get her done, bud. I think you'll be fine. And if you're up there in the Buffalo area and it's starting to get kind of nasty, that might even out the landscape for you a little bit. Always look at that bad weather as a blessing. The minute you don't like it, you're not going to play well. Lombard checking in. How are you doing, Jack? Is it getting Chicago-like cold up there yet, or what? Mark Malakowski, finally got to see it live. Hello, buddy. Glad you could get on board. All right. Here we go. Kent. Oh. Oh. All right. Good clubs. There's Dave from Michigan. I missed somebody? Nope. Dave, you like the skeleton? We're calling him Bones McGolf. And we got the he's sporting this and sporting that. And I put a divot tool in his pocket just for the fun of it. So S. Young, back from Brazil. Woo, nice. Hope to get instructions from you by the end of the week. Are we sending those out? Yeah, you're right. You're back now. Okay. It took me a minute. Yep, it took me a minute. Yep. Now that we know that you're there, hopefully I think I saw him in a box ready to go. So we should be good to go. And welcome back. Look at that Kent bin shopping. Listen to that. Stop it. Look at that. Robin getting a little bit of the positive love out there. And I am lucky to have her here. You would think, Kent. You would absolutely think. But somehow it doesn't work out. I don't understand that. All righty. Let's go. There's Dave. During a fitting, what are the telltale signs of a shaft is either too heavy or too light? Thanks. Okay. This is a fun one too. Dave's on point today with the questions. So we've got here we go. She's coming around the corner to tell me something. Yeah, it took me a minute. All right. So telltale signs things are too light or too heavy. So consistency can be one of them. right? You can, you've heard Army golf, and it comes with flex, but you'll see some over the top moves, right? If a club, in my opinion, if a club is too heavy and they go to bring it back, their first move is forward in order to heft it around and then into the swing, right? Where a club is too light, it gets flippy down at the bottom. It whips out here, and then it goes everywhere, because the idea is when you bring it back into the backswing that they're looking for, a typical golfer is looking for a set, whether they know it or not. They're setting themselves. They bring it back, whether you stop like Hideki Matsuyama or you just keep going and you're flowing it and doing a whole Jim Furyk thing where you're just moving it around, right? And you're moving it. But in any case, it's a feel. And if you can't find it, it's hard to release it. And those are the two biggest ones for me. Then, and it's funny, you notice how I haven't said impact into the ball, right? Sometimes you get it now, and what you do, it becomes an average. That's next, impact into the ball. A heavy one very well may be flat, right? Because of the casting and pushing it out and throwing it down. It very well may be heavy. Yes, they may very well get the timing right and strike one or two good. That's why you hit 4 or 5 only, and then see what the average is. And the same thing with the light, right? The quality of the hit wins supreme. Course vlogs with Bob. I think Bob would be pretty good at that. Yeah, you guys, we'd be the ultimate Mutt and Jeff. Because it's fun to get out there. He bombs it. He's now taking advantage of the senior T age, and the doggone guy hits the ball a mile anyway. And so when I get up there, I've got to stand on it just to be up there near him. But that would be kind of fun, wouldn't it? We'll have to see if Bob's listening and see what he thinks. We'll get him out there on Sundays or something. We'll get my dad is the director, and he'll show us the best spots. So that'd be funny. Vanishing loft disease, lost from the 90s, hundreds, and the thousands, some 5-irons. I know, right? I got a hold of one, and it was a PXG. I had no idea that the lofts were jacked up that much. And I told him, I said, oh, no, these are wrong. Well, we looked them up, and sure enough, they were correct. They were correct. How do you do that, right? How do you do that? And it's very, very difficult. Now, I will say, a club from this era, right, to, well, even use this, to a club from this era, two different things. They're both considered bladish type clubs. And I can guarantee you beyond a shadow of doubt, the second one was way more forgiving. Okay. Technology does play a game in this. So for instance, there is nothing wrong with this forged club. All right. We all know that they do green forged flowing. We know what that's all about. And it is a excellent club. But the sweet spot on this thing is about the size of a thimble, maybe smaller. All right. Where this guy is multi-pieced, and there is a truckload of tungsten underneath here. So as it is maybe stronger here, right? But the weight's underneath of it, so you get the flight. You get the flight of the same kind of this club in that same nature. It just goes further because the loft is stronger. Now, but if the loft is stronger, you don't create as much spin. True, but actually the ball's going to go higher. So if you're seeing a lot of guys, they're bringing in golf balls from outer space now. That's why, and it's because that center of gravity is very, very low. That should be something we could talk about, center of gravities. I've been kind of looking at it a little bit. Well, maybe it's something to talk about. Okay. Jack, what's going on? What grit on the belt do I use? Well, I use 120. 100 and 120. And those are the ones I have. 100 is probably my go-to number. I like it because it's not so super aggressive. It'll rip right into graphite, but it's not so soft that it won't make a lot of grit marks on steel. Retired 43, what do you say? I'm still digging on that face icon. That's pretty cool. And there you go, Shin. There, the shipping in the morning. Good deal. All righty. There's Dave. Hit the auto flex. Oh, okay. I want to read this one. FS 505 yesterday, and my M4 driver yesterday felt very whippy and hard to time. I don't think it's worth the 800. Well, if you only got it for 800, Dave, I'd say you're doing it because everybody's quoting 1,000. So that's not too bad. And the very whippy feel is, as I understand it, that's supposed to happen. And you just reach down there and don't give it the waggle. Just set her down there and let her go and see what happens. But yeah, that's what it's supposed to do. Now, if you got it fit, that's what it's supposed to do. I think a lot of guys have made mistakes just by going, yeah, you're a regular flex, let's do this, blah, 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 and move up. And where the guys with the shafts look at other stuff before they give you a shaft. And is it pink? I want to know that one. Is it pink? Travis Church. Like to see him do speed training system over the winter, either super speed stick or the stack system, winter content. You know what? I am seriously considering that. That would be kind of neat to kind of do like a, I don't know, we'll do like a couple of week update because I don't think you get to see too much progress. But yeah, I'd like to get back up there and be able to stand on the blue tees with super confidence and throw the ball out there. That would be fun. So, Mrs. McGolf, if you're listening out there, and I believe that you are, the speed stick or whatever we're talking about here, what do we got? That would be fun. And let's see if we can't do that one. That'd be a good one. Oh, MB Golf, here we go. How to remove the stability shaft adapter boss. Oh, I don't know. I'd have to see it, MB. If you send me a picture, send me a picture and maybe I can send you an email to tell you how it's done. Bounce only gets in the way. Sometimes that's true, bud. You know, as I do this, we haven't seen Charles Bartholomew in here, or the other Charles for that matter. Maybe he's a little further down. Bounce only gets in the way. Oh, as it should, man. Well done. Devo's Whippet sounds like it. Yes, there you go. For all those guys from the 80s. They're 80s. Yeah, they're 80s, folks. All righty. Hockey's on. See you later, partner. Let's see where we're at. Here we go. L to L. Remember I said that? I read that somewhere in Watson or maybe Phil. You know, they all probably have their own version of the same. I'm sure Phil has it somewhere. That's for sure. Where I discovered it was there's a gentleman in Texas. He did a lot of kids teaching. However, sprouted out and was doing something called perfect connection golf, and it was supposed to be a joint friendly golf swing. Very, very heavy on the kinesiology and how to make it so that your back wouldn't hurt and your shoulders wouldn't hurt, that kind of thing. Pardon me. And before I discovered chiropractic, that I was doing some of that, and one of the drills he talked about was L to L. I talked to him quite a few times about it and the different things that we could do, and it really had some really cool ideas. But that's it. I always get one, Dave. I always get one. I don't understand it, but there it is. I always get one. Videos of the whiskey reviews. Now, hey, we're talking now. Burnt ends. I did some the other day. They turned out pretty good. I've been watching, and Robin just rolls her eyes. I know she's doing it right now. There's on YouTube, it's a group called Meat Church. And a buddy of mine in Arizona went to their school, and I've been watching there, and they have these things called armadillo eggs, right? Armadillo eggs. And you take a jalapeno and you core it, and you put seasoned cream cheese in it, and you wrap a breakfast sausage around it in this like a small football, and then you wrap bacon around it, and then you put some more seasoning on it, and then you smoke it for about hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes. And then when it comes out, you hit it with a little bit of barbecue sauce and put it back in for about another 10, just so the barbecue sauce will get on it and stick. And oh, dude, they look good. Wow. That's all they did good. And then they did a breakfast fatty, and it's in the same concept where you take a bacon weave, and I've done this one before, taking a bacon weave, roll out some sausage, put some cheesy eggs in the middle or whatever you like. You could put peppers and onions and that kind of stuff, and you rolled it up into a big football, and then you smoke that with a little bit of seasoning and maybe a little barbecue, and you season that, and they use that as a, can you imagine that as a breakfast entree? Holy smokes. Yeah, that'd be fun. Maybe do it while we're doing a course vlog. That would be nice. Sunny V, very nice and warm here last week, cooled off. Probably a week or two left in the season up here in Ontario. Well, get out there and get as much as you can. Give nothing back, buddy. And are you going to be going? Are they going to let you out of Canada to go south for in January for the PGA? I hear that there's a. You guys are kind of in a mini travel lockdown. I'm not quite certain how that works, but there you go. Let me know. Family account. Okay. Hi from Durham, UK. Nice. Another one from the UK. Love the channel. Good. For a high-powered handicapper, would you go with super GI irons or fairly forgiving cavity back and practice harder / lessons? What are we trying to? It depends on what you're trying to accomplish. If you're trying to accomplish, no, there was question was asked. We will talk about barbecue. Oh yeah. All right. So, high handicapper. So I'll say so. What you're basically asking me: do I give you irons that you could probably use right away, or go get a fairly forgiving club and practice harder in lessons? There you go. So here's what I would suggest first. If golf is a thing that you really like, and golf is something that you plan that you feel is going to be something you're going to do for quite some time, depending on how long you have been golfing, right? It's if you took it up last week, then this is not what I'm talking about. But if you've been golfing for a year or 2 years, or more, and you're still in this high handicap, I would go around somewhere, wherever in the UK, and go get fit. All right, get the right clubs underneath of you. That would be number one. Then go get a lesson. And just one. You don't have to go get a series or anything. Go get one and learn some of the basics or some of the faults that you were doing, and then use that. Okay? Because depending on the person, you might keep these clubs for a century, or you may keep them for 2 years, depending on how you progress. Right? The idea, and when you go through the fitting, if you tell the fitter that you are looking for, this is what you want to do, then they can prescribe a set of irons that can fit that, something maybe that you can grow into. Okay. But there's never anything wrong with getting a lesson and practicing, right? Everybody gets better with practice. So, but get fit so that you're not creating swing flaws because of ill-fitted gear. Go get the lesson, and then practice and just get better. And if you grow out of them, if you grow out of them, that's not a bad thing. That's an excellent thing, right? A very excellent thing. In order for that means your progression and the things that you're doing are exactly what you wanted to do. And that's where I would go with it. Now, if you just got started, like in the last month, right? You just decided you want to get started in the last month. What I suggest to most people is I call it golf in a box. And normally over here, they call them big box stores. And it's a sporting goods store where you can find a box of golf clubs. And you'll pay for a decent set around $500 to $700. And it's a titanium driver, albeit maybe 3, 4, 5, 6 years of technology past. And it's everything you need except for golf balls and tees. It's golf in a box. It's you pull the plastic off the clubs, you sling the bag over your shoulder, and you go play golf and go get a lesson, right? Go get a lesson and see what happens and learn the etiquette, learn the proper way of swinging right out of the box, whether you're pulling the clubs out or not, and learn that first, and then sometime in your career, then go get the fitting. And that way you've maximized everything. You've maximized your time with the clubs. You've maximized your time learning the proper way to get around a golf course, the proper way to swing. And then you can get into another set and use that as a reward for being that much better. Whew, hopefully we got through that one. Best clubs for my 2-year-old daughter. 2-year-old. Well, honestly, if she's 2 years old and she's swinging, that's impressive. I will say that. At that age, I like just keeping golf fun. They normally have some of those little plastic ones where the heads are fairly decent size. It was part of a group called, they had these little Velcro golf balls that you would hit. Tag golf, I think it was. Anyway, something like that in the way to make it fun. However, if you're looking to put real golf clubs underneath of them, I can suggest US Kids. US Kids it's based on size, right? And they have a beginner set, and this little red set, the whole thing can't be that big, right? The bag's not 1.5 feet tall, and it's very short, and it's like 3 clubs in it. It's just the coolest little get started set ever. But I would look up US Kids, and they really take care of the kids. The reason why I like them so much is they do exactly that. From around here, they have a US Kids tournament, and they're based on age and different distances to get where you're at. And if you win around here, if you win your age category, you get invited down to Pinehurst to play in a championship round with other kids of that same age group from all over the world, right? And it's a really good time to watch the kids get out there and be competitive. It's really kind of cool. Well, look at that. She said the same thing. All right, Tangles from Australia. Hello, good morning. Any chance you could talk about swing weighting? I just got into restoring clubs for a hobby. All righty, swing weighting. I do have a video on it on the YouTube channel, so if you look up swing weight, you go to McGolf Custom Clubs and type in swing weight, it'll pop up, probably 1 or 2 of them. However, in swing weighting, my most favorite is not using a thing at all and making it so that it works out proper that way. The second best way is using tip weights. Preferably, I like lead. Lead is malleable versus the brass. Brass is cool and it's probably less hazardous, but it doesn't bend like the lead does. And you can get things into, you can peel off pieces and get them to fit better. So anyway, I like the lead, and that's mostly for irons. Okay, mostly for irons. Tip weighting and drivers, particularly if you're doing some older clubs, that would be okay. But if you get really, really heavy, then you end up, losing tip insertion, and you have to be very cognizant about that. The second way of doing it is with lead tape on the outside, and that kind of cancels out the restoration part of it. Now, if you really are, if you're really getting into this thing, and it's a new modern type club, you can throw what they call a rat glue and some tungsten in the head and let it and move it around with heat so that's nice and flat. You'll hear people you talk about throwing weight down the shaft and using a cork behind it. I've done that a total of once, and it's not worth it. It really is not worth the effort. They got cork pieces that are this big. They got to get all the way down to the bottom, and you have to have a certain rod, and you got to make sure all that stuff gets down there, and it's not nearly as precise as one would leave you to believe, and that's the reason why I don't like it. You can't precision put it down in there, and that's what I just don't like that part. All righty. Oh, and welcome, buddy. Love it from Australia. Thank you. David, video, go through some different bag setups, more wedges, more hybrids, more woods. Explain. What's in a kind of a golf clubs explain. That'll work. And all you guys, my video that's coming out tomorrow is a what's in my shop, and it's on the dirty side. And what I will tell you is that I do talk about all my gear, but what I also talk about is shop cleanliness. And I really harp on it because it is important, right? You don't want to, we deal with a lot of steel, a lot of fragments in the air, a lot of graphite, and you want to maintain your health. And cleanliness helps with that. And I've been in some shops where I almost fell down. It was so slick with all the graphite all over the floor. And I've been in some shops that you could have ate a dinner off of. So, just maintain some cleanliness, and I'll show you what goes on. And I clean out my belt sanders, and you get to see all the junk that comes out of the belt sanders. It's pretty cool. Then at the very end, I talk about shop layout, so that you can kind of pick and choose and mold as you want. So keep an eye out for that. Mr. Wiggins, how are you, sir? I've heard a couple of broken plastic shaft extensions. Oh, I've had a couple of broken shaft extensions. Is there an easy method for removing the snapped off bit of the butt end? I'm anxious of heating the butt too much. Okay. Well, Nick, the cool part here is if the plastic extensions are in a steel shaft, no worries. Just give it about 10 seconds in about 3 or 4 quadrants, and it will start getting hot, and you'll be able to basically scoop it out because it'll melt a little bit, and then you'll pull it out. Or you can use one of those pipe cleaners that would get it, or you can take a drill and just run it around the exterior of it, and that will clean it out. Now, if it's a graphite shaft, that's a little different because, right, that would make you anxious, right? And you can still heat it, but it's only like 5 seconds. I wouldn't go much more than that. 5 seconds on one side, 5 seconds on the other, done. Okay. I would try and put more heat actually on the plastic itself and then go through the same process of trying to dig it out. Personally, I'd try a drill in a lower speed and just try and clean it out as I was going around that way. And then that's what I would do. Yeah, we talked about that one. I don't know if you got to see it, Robert, but the Tour V is still coming. The rest of them, ugh. Tobester, I'm a 30 handicap, thinking Mizuno MP20 HMB. Am I nuts? It irons pretty good, but I'm stuck on the course. Or you suck on the course. Oh, come on, dude. No. The HMB is a very forgiving club, although it looks like a blade. It is pretty much it's a hollow body. Now, to keep in mind, it does not have very much offset. So if you're a fader of the ball and you can't get the club closed, this might work in opposite. But it's got a slightly wider sole, which I dig. It's got a good looking address if you can bring the club around, and they hit very, very, very well. So I don't see you having a problem with that if you get to that point of it. And look at her. And we do have a set if you're interested. What did they tell us? Did you answer him down here below? They did give us a ship date. It's coming shortly. All right. The TD driver shaft. Which shafts, in your opinion, are the most familiar to this profile? Well, I just happen to have some TDs back right there. Kim Braley has always been a stiff tip, kind of stiff butt kind of guy. Something that guys would like is probably in the hazardous line, right? The hazardous black. I would go with that. Hazardous black, hazardous smoke in the green, probably something along that line. So that's probably as close as I can get you to. Paul Van Fleet, 79 at Eagle's Nest. Are you talking about degrees or are you talking about your score? If you got 79, Paul, you go back and you need to drop off some money at that doctor of yours because he put a golf knee in for you. Well done, sir. Good job. Dave, yes, it was pink. No, it wasn't fitted to as a Golf Buddy shaft. Oh, okay. Yeah, no. As I found out, those things you really want to be fit to. Obviously, they're $800, and you want the best you can put in there. But what I'm finding out more and more about those is that you just can't go, oh, I swing at this, and it must fit that. There's way more parameters that take into account. But yeah, I'm with you on the switch though. Travis, what are my thoughts on the U-Wood? Have you hit it on speed training? I would like to see you do the stack system. The stack system. I'll have to go look that one up. Is that the one that's got the head in it where you put the little, you put the weights in it? We'll go look that one up. All right. Utility wood, or the U-Wood. I have not hit it. I know people that I've made a few, and they tended to like them. It has not as much offset as one would think, but they do. Oh no, this is the new one. That new one that just came out. No, I've not. I have not seen the new one. That one that Mickelson was all gushing about. No, I haven't. I'm still back on the super hybrid, and I am all about that super hybrid. So if this 5-wood's anywhere near that one, yeah, it's a winner. But no, I have not on the new one. Patrick, how are you, sir? Jim, on bore-through driver, how bad is it to drill out the broken shaft only deep enough to put a newer bore in and shaft and repoxy? It's called a blind bore, Patrick, that's the official term for doing that. It's called a blind bore. And yes, it can be done. You want to make sure. I'd go in about an 1.5 inches, and that's to get you past the hosel area, the silver part of those clubs, right? Because you can't do it on a Callaway club because there's only this much going through. You just can't do it. But on like a Titleist club, yeah, we come down about 1.5 inches and just watch out for the fit. The fit might be a little bit loose, so you want to make sure you might use a shim in it. People did that all the time. I didn't prefer to do that because in my mind's eye, it needs to work like it was prescribed. I've never got outside that box too much, but I have fixed other people's doing that, and once we got it right in the right spot, it was no problem. Past my prime. Just getting here. Forgot to set the reminder. Well, that goes with past my prime, right? All righty. Well, welcome in, Steve. Oop, 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 oop. I went back to the bottom again. Here we go. Oh, hey, bud. Game is coming together with the new club. Shot 9 best ever on a tough Donald Ross course with a 42. Nice. Don Ross, buddy, he was a shot-making guy. So if you got into that, you did okay. Good job. All righty. Love the cast. Good. Have a really long question that I would love for you to answer. My email. Yeah, go ahead. It'd be at mcgolfshop@roadrunner.com or clubmaker@mcgolf.net. Go ahead. I've been watching YouTube videos for about a month now. Learned a lot. Well, You're more than welcome, sir. Again, if you guys got any content ideas, please let me know. All righty. Yeah. Great answer. Been playing a few years, really want to improve, had a lesson, made progress, want to get fitted, but not sure where to get fit for my game now or the game I'd like to have. Well, that's the best part of the fitting. If you truly went to a good fitter, right, they'll see your game, they'll see how you're hitting, and you can tell them where you want to be, and they can give you something to grow with. You may not be where you want to end, but maybe something to help you along your way. Because the whole thing here is, let's say you want to get into blades and all you can hit are the super game improvements. You will get completely, unadulteratedly flustered and not like it, right? And then you'll want to quit. And that's not the idea here. The idea is to have fun improving and enjoying this game and doing better. And if you need to, you take a step somewhere in between, and that fitter should tell you, okay, in order to get to where you want to be, this is the club set we want you in now. You'll probably use it for a couple of years or so until you get to your designation or destination. And that's the way it should be, I think. And take another lesson if you like the guy giving you a lesson. CB, first time on the chat, concerning changing out steel shafts and replacing them with the same weight graphite. Do you keep them the same length? The length's the same? Well, yeah. Length is length, sir, no matter what the weight. All right, length is length, no matter what the weight. Everybody gets concerned about the swing weight. Swing weight is a specification. It is not a requirement. It's something that I use to ensure that the sets were made in a very consistent manner. Does anybody have to have a D2? And this was classic. I just saw that Ian had the most perfect explanation of this on TXG. So when people get hung up on swing weight, I will use this explanation going forward forever. So if I made you a telephone pole and put a head on the end of it and put a weight on the back and got you D4, are you saying that you could swing it? It's D4. Or if I gave you something that was in the weight of a feather class and everything was so light that it almost floats on its own, but it's D4. It's not necessarily, it's a good indicator that you've got good clubs. However, the overall weight or total weight is far more important. And keep in mind on this one, CB, that if you are going with the same weight graphite that you are using in steel, let's say even 95 or even 100, they are probably not going to play the same, right? That was the whole idea of graphite. Graphite is a great material for making lighter weight clubs or lighter weight shafts that can perform in the same fashion. In order to get to those heavier weights, they have to layer on more stuff. More stuff means firmer, and it can very easily become more stiff than your steel counterparts. So keep that in mind. All right, last week I asked if I could sand down the recoil. Yeah, we talked about that one. Afterwards, I decided not to sand down the shaft and about a recoil. Okay. You could have, because that one's got it's got a lot of meat at the bottom, but okay. Very cool. Duke, what's up, buddy? Hopefully you guys are getting good weather. Not a problem, sir. That's what we're here for. I like doing these. Golfer Man Jim. Look at this one. There you go. The new fitting ones are due in, well, I'm going to get some supposedly this month, but it's just the wedges and maybe the ST200G driver. The irons, the Mizuno Pro irons are due in, I think, January. The new Mizunos are doing in January, right? When? Oh, you already answered. Oh, 11/25. I thought.
11/25 is Robert Wiggins.
Yeah. February. Okay, February. Camilio, what's going on? All righty. Well, good luck. Enjoy the meet, buddy. Sunny Golf, the U.S. opened the land border for non-essential travel depending on your vac status. I'm still planning on going to PGA show if I can. We'll see what the rules are. Well, as I understand it, if it's in Florida, you're going to be okay. I'm sure they'll have some spacing criterias, but we should be okay. All right, here we go, Cam. Also notice that the ferrule on my 6-iron is not flush with the club head, but all the others are. Is this a big enough problem? Send it back to Callaway. Well, let's see. You got your stuff from a guy down in Florida. Unless you can make that trip, I would find a Florida guy or a local and have him take a look at it. If it's not exactly flush and it's just like, teeny weeny, I wouldn't sweat it so hard. But if it starts moving, then I'd make sure what you really want to do is take a look and make sure it's still in line with your grip to make sure this thing's not moving, because it could just be nothing more than the ferrule. And if it's nothing more than the ferrule, then no. A lot of cases, if it truly is the ferrule, then you take a little piece of super glue and put a little dot in there, slide her back down, and you're fixed forever. LF, mid-handicap, using G400s. That is not bad clubs. I found Titleist 200s go through the turf way easier. Why? Yeah, let's see. It could be because of the attack angle. The G400s, and it depends, I believe, have a slightly wider sole, and the 200s are probably thinner, and the way that you're attacking the turf, it's probably a little bit better than that. I would also look at there's two other things. I would look at the length to make sure that they're identical, and then look at the lie angle and see if one's not up more than the other. All right. Gone late, working too much lately, son in college. You guys, yes. Been there, done that, buddy. Tobester, thanks, Robin. Getting fit on Wednesday. Wish I had out in your neck of the woods, probably leaning towards the 20s. Okay. We'll see what they think. Nick, what's going on? Oh, Germany. Nick, here's another country. Well done. Thank you for attending. And we got down to the very bottom. Here we are. We're going to finish it with this one. Adam Cattle. There we go. From England. Thank you for, I know that's a late night for you guys. I'm currently doing my PGA degree to become a professional. Well done, sir. Congratulations. I hope you do well. I have a club building exam coming up. Have you got any tips to help me with the exam? So I have helped a few assistants get to the passing point here. And just from a let's get it passed kind of thing, I would look at how you're going to measure club length. I would look at the effects of lie angle and how to change them, what that means. You might not, does upright means it goes to the inside, flat means it goes away, that kind of thing. What flex means as far as that going up. And then if you're building, making sure that the tip of the club is abraded, that the hosel is cleaned out, and that you put just enough glue on there so that it eases out and that you can clean it off on the outside and finish the ferrule later. The other part is putting on the grip, where you put the grip on and it goes down the middle of the shaft and then it finds the bottom of the iron or the top of the driver. Those seem to be the big questions that I've heard from the Florida people. I don't know what the UK people would be asking, but those are the simplistic questions from there. Okay. And good luck. Let us know how you did. All righty. I don't know about course management, but by golly, I'll get around. Hello from Texas. Yes. Really quickly, yes. I would say and not a lot heavier, just slightly heavier. And that again is from a swing weight and total weight perspective, right? You're going to use a slightly heavier shaft, or it's the same weight of shaft with a slightly heavier head. I just think it's because wedges are a finesse club. They're not made, they're made for that half, quarter swing in order to get through, and that weight helps you guide it through better. And that's what I think. LF, last one, and Canada. All right. Thank you, guys. All right, we made it down to the end. I wanted to, or let's put this in here. There we go. Facebook, Twitter, right? Follow us on that if you would. Watch for the video that will be released. I appreciate it if you would like and subscribe on that one as well. Tell your friends. We're trying to get that video count up. And what else? Oh, hopefully you enjoyed this one. Like and subscribe here if you would, please. And again, we'll see you next Monday. And thank you for some of the content. And if you get an idea, put it on here and we'll take a look at it as well. And again, guys, thank you so much. All over the world this time, right? All over the U.S., Canada. We got down into Bogota. We got over to the U.K. We got Germany. We got Australia. Holy smokes, man. That was awesome. And again, thank you so very much. And as always, let's see your scores go low.